My name is Jennifer Taylor. I'm here with my daughters.
I'm Savannah Taylor. I'm a senior at Hofstra University.
I'm Jillian Taylor. I just finished my first year at University of Arizona.
We're actually the original founders of the organization Swirls Girls. Before we get started, we wanted to just acknowledge that it's a really tough time for everyone right now. And so while everybody is in a different situation, we want everybody to know that it's okay not to feel okay. So while people are asking us to be socially distant, it doesn't mean that you need to be emotionally distant. So we hope that everybody's at home and that you're staying safe, and that we'll get on this, we'll get on the other side of this together. So before we turn the conversation over to our beautiful panel, we wanted to take a little time and tell you a little bit about Swirls Girls.
So Swirls for Girls was started when I was about 9 or 10 years old. I was in the car with my mom, and I remember on the way home, I told her how I was uncomfortable with who I was because I'm Black and Asian, and there was nobody like me at my school, and I was always the outcast. There was never like a place where I fit in. And so me, my mom, and my sister created Swirls for Girls, which is a diversity group based in LA that brings girls of all flavors, or swirls, together to support and inspire each other through culturally diverse and interactive education, mentorship, friendship, and activities. It has helped me grow a lot as a person. I'm glad that we were able to start this with not only family, but friends as well. And I'm also glad to see it growing, especially since it's been about 12 years now.
So like Savannah said, the history of Swirls has been that when we started when it goes back before we started the organization, I started reading books and blogs and articles about multiculturally parenting when Savannah and Jillian were young. Savannah, you may want to stop video real quick. There you go. Sorry, people, we're trying to learn how this all works. So I come from a Filipino background. My husband is Black, and so while there were some cultural similarities, there were a lot of differences as well. I read this book several years into Savannah being born, called I'm Chocolate, You're Vanilla. And the Black child psychologist that wrote the book said that once your child is 10 years old, and if they come from a mixed background, they're going to realize that they're different. So, I wanted to do something just so that I could save feelings from being hurt and that type of thing. There are also articles that I read saying that mixed kids wanted to be around other kids that they can identify with that look like them. So, as a mom of mixed kids, I knew that there would be some things that I couldn't relate to, like the importance of edge control. Like I have no idea what that's about. And even now I'm still learning. My girls are 22 and 19. And I think a couple of weeks ago, I just asked them what the hell Black Twitter was, because I didn't know if I qualified for it or if it was a completely, separate ether. So in any event, we created the safe space for girls and for moms to come together in 2008. I called my sister Eileen and my friends Lou, Mimi, Dorothy, Felicia, Jean, and Jolie to brainstorm, and the rest is history. I think one of my favorite stories about the history is that we have one of our girls, her name is Tofi. She's Black and Samoan. And when she was younger, she used to ask her mom why her hair was so angry. And so I think it's very indicative of what the organization was about. Okay.
Hello. What you're seeing now is the 9 OGs of Swirls for Girls: Isabella Bautista, Madison Collins, Christian Kanaki, Tofi Latoa, Adara McGregor, Anissa McGregor, Fallon Legault, Julian Taylor, and moi.
Okay, so Swirls Girls is a safe, supportive, and accepted group for girls of all ethnic backgrounds that helps build confidence, self-esteem, and self-awareness. And our group addresses racial and cultural identity issues relating to societal standards through open conversations, mentor-led presentations, and more. And personally, I've grown so much as a young woman in a with a multicultural background to understand my own identity and how my outstanding features are a blessing. And our program has bonded our girls together so tightly in love, appreciation, and support for each other. So we're all sisters. So some of the activities that we've participated in include etiquette classes, hot healing, charity events, a college campus tour of USC, and cultural activities touring the Little Tokyo and Alvera Street. And our program supports girls from the ages 6 to 16, but girls ages 17 and up are considered as mentors to the younger girls.
So we put this webcast together just very quickly. I had a conversation with both Sibley and Katrina Jo are good friends of mine, and I was telling them about the Swirls program and how we meet every month to do events and activities. But because of lockdown, it prevented us from doing that. So the gal suggested that we do a webcast. And so we picked this entire lineup of Black and Filipino ladies, and we're super excited for the first Swirls Girls Conversation. So given that I know Katrina Jo, Sibley, and Saweetie by servicing the Filipino community, we thought it would be appropriate to choose a cause to help out. So Katrina Jo and I are actually board members of a group called SIPA, Search to Involve Filipino Americans. And one of our board members, John Eric Concordia and his wife, Christine, along with their business partners, have started this really great heroic effort in helping feed the frontliners. Park's Finest is this pop-in barbecue spot that they own in historic Filipino town, Echo Park area of LA. And they've chosen to serve the community by feeding healthcare workers and emergency responders. So 100% of this, of the donations for this event is going towards that efforts. It's not too late to continue to support. If you'd like, we'll drop the link in the chat box with the GoFundMe page. All right, so I think we're ready to get started.
Okay, so I'm gonna introduce the first, what's the word? Moderator of our presentation. So Katrina Jo Balbuena is a Bay Area native. Her lifelong passion for dance led her on a very extensive dance career, dancing for the Oakland Ballet, San Diego Charger Girls, Los Angeles Clippers, BLOC Agency, and choreographing for numerous dance teams in Southern California. In 2010, Katrina took her dance out and business savvy to start her very own promotional model and dance company, Glam's Girl LA. After years of experience in event production and marketing, Katrina represented Los Angeles by working for major brands such as Reebok, MOA, Hennessy. She's currently the co-host of the new podcast, Fed Work, which films out Heartbeat Studios, and loves to give back to the community as a SIPA board member. Welcome, Katrina Jo.
Hi guys, happy to be here.
Thank you. Savannah?
Sorry. I will be introducing moderator Sibley Scholes, who is a Bay Area native. Her lifelong passion for music evolved into her dream of becoming a performer, in which she later toured, released songs as a solo artist, and hit stages across the country. Sibley even relocated to the UK and licensing original music for Stella McCartney's fashion lines. Her natural charm and talent, coupled with her comfort on stage, led Sibley to become the first female host of Sean Diddy Combs' music television network, Revolt. After a few years there, Sibley transitioned to E! News, where she covered Hollywood's biggest red carpets and award shows. Sibley also served as a regular face of E! News and Live from E!, where she weighed in on trending pop culture stories and all things celebrity. In addition to on-camera hosting, Sibley was an on-air personality at iHeart's Radio 92.3 FM and has a background in sports and fashion. Currently, Sibley is signed on as an entertainment correspondent for Access Hollywood and All Access, both nationally syndicated entertainment news, as well as co-host of Access Hollywood Weekend. Welcome, Sibley.
Woo!
Now I'm sweating. When you say things, it makes you sweat. But hi, guys.
Yes. Hey,
Good
girl.
to see all of you.
And now, I know you guys, many of you guys know Saweetie, but I would like to introduce her. She is known as a rapper, musician, and influencer, but she is also a CEO and a philanthropist. Saweetie is originally from Southern California, grew up in Northern California, and came back down to Los Angeles for college, where she graduated from USC as a business and communications major. Saweetie comes from a Black and Filipino background, and as part of her philanthropy work, Saweetie participates in community service, advocating for causes she believes in, such as Swirls Girls. Hey, Saweetie.
Hey, girls. I'm so excited to be here today. And I'm from the Bay Area as well, so you know, the Bay in the building.
Yes.
Yes.
Hayward, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Fremont.
Okay, girl.
Yes.
No, I'm excited to be here. I'm glad that we're doing this because I've always wanted to have a conversation like this. And I feel, again, we're all from the Bay, mixed race backgrounds. I feel young girls and even adults need to hear this conversation. So I'm excited.
Same.
Do you want to start with questions, Katrina? Or do you want me to?
Sure, yeah. Saweetie, what was it like for you growing up being multicultural in the Bay Area? How was that experience for you?
Thankfully, like growing up in the Bay Area, there is a lot of Black and Filipinos. So I think it's interesting, like when I go on the East Coast, like being mixed with Filipino is not common, but growing up in the Bay Area, there's a substantial amount of Filipino communities. So I always felt like my heritage was present. However, I didn't know how to, it was difficult trying to identify with two different cultures. And being that my family, like my Filipino family, my mom is an immigrant, so they're very traditional. And then my Black side is Black American. So the values were really different, and I had to learn how to adjust depending on which household I was in.
Right, right.
Definitely. I was going to say, Katrina and I went to the same high school at one point.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
You went to Walters, right?
And junior high, too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know the whole mix. There are a lot of us out there, okay, in the Bay Area. It's a big Filipino Black heritage, and I'm Black, white, and Filipino. My grandmother's from the Philippines, and I guess my question would be, because I know I had this growing up, were there ever times at school, even though we had people that were like us, certain areas that we were in, did you feel like you had to fit in with a certain race at times, or did you always know like this is who I am every single time?
I always felt like an outcast. Although there were a lot of mixed people who were like me, the schools that I did go to, I went to middle school. My mom made me go to middle school in Palo Alto because she wanted me to be in a good school system. So there weren't a lot of people that had my mix. So it was either you were like Asian, Black, or white. So it was kind of, it's kind of hard because let's just be real. Like in middle school, mixed girls have a stigma for being whatever negative, associations people attach them to. So people were already like prejudging me. And then in the Asian community, they just see me as a Black girl. So I'm like, where do I fit in?
Right. So when you transitioned to high school, because I know once you're in high school, there's like BSU, there's a Filipino club, there's all these different things that you can associate and get yourself involved with. Did you find yourself joining any of those clubs to kind of just, network and relate to people that, you identify with?
I was a year-round athlete. So like my safe place was just my sports team. So I'm thankful that I had, I was a year-round athlete. I did track and volleyball. So like my home base was just kind of like the girls that played sports, but I didn't really join any like clubs. Yeah, I should have, but I didn't.
Okay. Nice.
I think sports helps out a lot of people, even outside of just being, mixed race. But that totally was my thing too, because you'd see like the jocks, and then you'd see like the cheerleaders. You see everybody, and I still didn't fit in either. So I understand what you're saying. When I was at school, I didn't get it. Was there a time too for you growing up? And this, I think a lot of kids, especially now, might have something to think about. Did you ever feel like when you didn't fit in, you wanted to be something else, or you felt like you needed to be something else?
Oh, that's a really good question. Honestly, I come from a really big family, so I had a lot of resentment towards my parents because I'm just like, why don't you just put me in school with my cousins?
Right.
So it's like, although I didn't have a lot of friends growing up before I started playing sports in school, like I come from a big family, so I wasn't worried about like hanging out with people after school because my family was so big. But I'm like, I'm so lonely. I feel like an outcast. Can I just go to school with my cousins?
It could have made it easy on you, right?
Yes, it would have definitely made it easier on me.
But
What
now
about you? How did you feel?
Oh, did I? You know what? I always got the question. I hung around every race.
Mm-hmm.
I had cousins that I was born in Walnut Creek, raised in Fremont, but I lived in Hayward for a little bit with my grandmother. East Bay. I got family over in San Francisco and San Bruno and stuff. So I was around a lot of different races, but during school, I was always told sometimes, you're only Black when you want to be Black. You're only Filipino when you want to be Filipino.
Oh, wow.
Or you're only white when you want to. It's like, no, I think because I can be around everyone, it might, look like that. I just felt like I didn't want
chameleon.
Yeah, and I didn't want to keep making it about my race every single time.
Right, exactly. Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to get through high school, okay?
Right.
Get me out of here.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think for me, I had times where I was like the token Black girl, but I was predominantly raised by my Filipino side. Found myself more so just adjusting and joining the different clubs, and like I was on dance team, I was at a dance academy where I was a token Black girl. But I also joined BSU and was part of the Filipino club and stuff. So I kind of just found my niche in different things like as I was growing up.
I was muted. I think it helps when you find your space that you fit in, regardless of whatever it is. I think. And Sweetie, I went way back on your Instagram. I went way back.
What'd you find?
I went back to like 2014. Is that the very beginning? It's cool to see that you've remained yourself this entire time. I guess I'd like you kind of elaborate on that because you found music early on and that's what you really wanted to do. You stuck with it and it happened the way you wanted it to happen.
No, I wish it would have happened a lot quicker, but it's okay. I'm thankful that I'm here now.
Yeah.
I'm thankful. But
what were some of the struggles that you had to go through?
For one, when Filipinos, Asian, Tiger moms, when they found out that I wanted to do music, they were upset, but they still supported me because they just wanted to make sure I had a secure career, and making it as a musician in America, I think it's like 3%. I'm not sure what the stats are this year, but yeah. And then, my Black side is just like, it just depends. If you're older, it's kind of like, what are you doing? If you're younger, they're like, okay, yeah, we feel you. Like, go ahead and pursue music. So I think that's just a struggle, especially with like my Asian side. Typically, there's nursing, there's other things that, that kind of help with securing a financially stable life. But I'm like, hey, this is what I really want to do. So I kind of just had to prove to them that I could make it. And I feel like when they first heard my song on the radio, they're like, wow, okay. Like, we see your vision now.
That's amazing. Growing up, what artists or women inspired you along your journey?
I feel like someone who I really identified with, she didn't do music, but Kamora Lee Simmons. I thought that it was dope that, someone that looked like me was fashionable, fly, bossed up, smart. And I don't know, just seeing her just achieve her dreams just made me feel like I could do it too. So that's why I feel like it's important for like women like us to be present in chats like this, because there are girls who are wondering like what their place is, but when they hear our story, they're like, okay, we can do it too. So I know y'all can't hear us, but thank you for joining us, and hopefully we are inspiring y'all.
Absolutely. And I just wanted to say too, like you said, Saweetie, shout out to all the girls, because these questions, by the way, are from all the girls from Swirls for Girls. So thank you guys for bringing these questions together today. Keeping with the music, how do you stay motivated? Because obviously when you're on tour, when you're making records, when you're doing everything, photo shoots, it's a lot. How do you find your zen?
My zen is I have to talk to, or I have to bring a family member with me. A lot of people know my auntie is like my best friend, Auntie Icy, but we're really close in age. You know, my grandma was getting busy. Like,
come on, grandma.
So it's like that. The age difference isn't really that big. So she's like one of my friends, my homegirls, and she's kind of like my home away from home, because you definitely need that sanity. Because when you're like traveling, barely sleeping, hopping on a plane every other day, every other night, it starts to wear down your body. And it's funny because like a lot of people see me get my hair, my nails, and my glam done all the time, but that's just not fun after like a month. You're like, I don't care what I look like anymore.
Right.
No, like it was to the point where I just started showing up to interviews with big glasses on, because I needed that extra 30 minutes or like 45 minutes of sleep.
But you still look glamorous.
Thank you. But girl, it's not. I mean, I'm thankful, but the glitz and glamour, that there's way more work that goes on behind the scenes. And I know you guys can attest to that, because we're all creative and performance in this chat right now. So it gets stressful.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And during those times when you are stressed, or you have any moments of self-doubt, like what is your go-to to pull yourself out of that? Do you have like a routine you do, meditation, anything of that sort?
I definitely have moments of self-doubt, but I just remember that I think just reflecting on my journey just to see how far I've come, like it's not always going to be, good times. So I feel like, it's a roller coaster. It's not a straight shot up to, where I want to be. So I have to remind myself of all the things that I have accomplished. And because I am such a hard worker, I'm like, okay, like it may not be good today, but maybe in a couple of weeks, or just, give it some time. And, it's a, like what Nipsey said, it's a marathon and not a race.
Yes,
so
yes.
just like keeping those like thoughts in my mind help me get the negativity out.
Nice, that's dope.
Your authenticity, it comes across right now. I can see it. I'm like, this is her, this is who she is. And I love that. I love that you own who you are. Staying authentic obviously is hard in this industry. It's hard in the world anyway. But how do you continue to just do you and own what it is? Like I said, when I went back watching you, I'm like, okay, so everything's evolving, but she hasn't changed up the person who she is.
I feel like what kind of keeps me who I am is because this industry can jade you, because people are interesting. and sometimes you kind of want to like stoop down to the level, you want to match their energy, but at the end of the day, like I feel like good things happen to good people. So I've never really been, what's the word, I've never really tried to, dang, I'm having a big brain fart. It's a good word. Anyways, I like to just remain good, because I always feel like God gonna handle it. I'm like, okay, y'all being real ugly and nasty right now, but I ain't gonna handle you, God will.
That's the truth.
Yes, that karma.
Yep.
That karma too. And in the beginning of my career, there have been times where I have exploded. I have had meltdowns, or I have went off on people because I was frustrated. And honestly, like I don't like feeling like how I feel afterwards. And I feel like the greatest and most powerful, the greatest thing you can have, and what gives you the greatest power, is to have self-control of your emotions. So I feel like that's what I've mastered for these past 2 years, because people do piss you off right and left, but the best thing you can do is just, be sweet, be classy, and handle them in a professional manner. Because if you handle your business like like that's dope to me. But like all that yelling and cussing people out, like that's just, for me as a person, it makes me feel horrible afterwards. So I'm just like, let me just woosah, get my words together, and then tell them off very politely.
Great.
Smartest thing possible.
Right?
Right. Yes, absolutely. I love that.
Do you want to talk some skincare? We're gonna jump around for a little bit.
Girl, let's jump.
Now I don't know about you guys, but sometimes the acne pops and things are happening. You got to take care of yourself.
And for me, I have to pop my pimples. I'm sorry.
Do you?
I can't let it sit there.
It's like you don't want to touch your face, but it's like you have to. So then you get a dark spot on your face. It's like a whole mess. But how do you take care of yourself? How do you clean yourself? You always look good.
Thank you.
Obviously you put your best foot forward, but how do you take care of yourself when you wake up in the morning and go to sleep at night, especially now during quarantine?
Honestly, especially for people who are listening, I know y'all come from different classes of, y'all financial background, but honestly, really invest in your skin. Like we buy shoes when we was partying, we buy bottles, like we spend things on things we want to spend money on. So why not invest in your skin? And what I do is I have like 2 different regimens, like one in the morning and one at night. So in the morning, I'm putting on like light creams. I'm putting on dark correcting creams. If you want to afterwards, I can like drop all the stuff that I use afterwards. But it's just like there are products that help you get rid of dark spots. There are products for different types of skin. I have oily skin, so it gets a little messy. And like when I wake up, my whole face is just oily. But then just having the proper like education on how to, because every skin type has a different regimen. And I honestly feel like they should be teaching us this in school, because like some people have really sensitive skin and can break out really bad. So I feel like I'm kind of hopping everywhere, but there are definitely special regimens for each types of skin. So I don't know if that answers it.
No, it definitely does.
You got in your morning and night routine?
You said what?
How many steps do you have in your routine, skincare routine?
Okay, so
break it down.
Okay, so it's different products, but I definitely like wash my face with warm or cold water. I heard that you're supposed to like wash with cold water after you're washing the soap off because it tightens your pores, but someone came for me and said that's not true, but that's what I like to do. I'm not no professional, but that's what I do. So I wash I wipe my makeup off if I have makeup on, and then I wash my skin, end it with cold water, and then I tone. And after that, it's a dermatologist, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So my dermatologist told me that you need to put your face cream on when your toner is wet because it'll absorb the lotion better. Because if your toner dries, it puts a thin barrier between your skin and the lotion.
Oh, so it's not working.
Yes.
I mean, it works, but not as good.
Okay.
And then and then one thing that I live for that I just started using is eye cream. It just makes your eyeballs pop. I don't know.
Yeah, because I got 47 pounds of concealer under my eyes right now because I'm tired.
Right. No, a good eye cream. I like to use Tatcha or Ulla Henriksen. Like it just brightens up your face. So I definitely have like about 4 to 5 steps.
Nice.
Okay. I like it.
For style wise, where'd you pull it from? How did you decide like this is what I like, this is what I'm gonna go with, and how has it evolved since you first started?
Well, I definitely come from I seen this thing on Twitter and it was like it was this sentiment. It was like, you can't be mean to me. Do you know who my family is? So it's like my style comes from just, for one, we all from the Bay. Like people from the Bay, we love being unique. We love being different. We're always trying to make ourselves different. And I feel like it's just a Bay Area thing, Yeah. But besides that, like my family, I come from a family that's full of women who can dress. And if And if your outfit looks wild, they cracking jokes at you. So they ain't gonna tell you it ain't cute, but they gonna say something slick. So I always just like every time it's a family event, it's like a fashion show with all the girls. So I think just us being fun and cool and, you know, friendly, like being friendly but competitive and trying to look cute, I feel like that's what made me want to be cute and dress nice.
I love it. So you learned from an early age.
Mm-hmm.
So, no one talking about me. I wasn't gonna say.
Right, exactly.
So has there ever been a time where you've been like on shoot for something, or you had to go to an award show and last minute you didn't have a stylist and you had to just improvise on your own and pull it together?
Yeah, I had to do that a lot in the earlier stages. And for me, I felt like I was going to so many events, I stopped kind of caring, but then the pictures would come out and I'd be like, oh no, I gotta come correct every time. I'm like, can y'all not take a picture of me today? I'm not cute.
Got it. Yeah, no, for sure.
So your mother is Filipino, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you look at her, do you see yourself in her? Do you see you too? Because you guys do look alike. I mean, it's mama, but
oh my gosh, the older I get, the more I look like her. But growing up, like I was my dad's twin. But I feel like the more I lose like my baby fat, I look like my mama. So like it's weird because sometimes I get done putting on my makeup and like, oh my gosh, one time I jumped because I was like, I scared myself because I was like, I look just like my mama right now. I had to call her. I was like, hey, bro, I look just like you.
Genes are crazy.
Oh my gosh. And they kind of go back and forth because I do look like my dad too, but then they look like each other. So I don't know.
You look like both of them.
Yeah.
What have you got any? Oh, go ahead, Katrina, go.
Oh no, I was just gonna ask, with you constantly being on tour, on the move, doing music video shoots and all of that, like what's one thing that you can't leave home with?
My blanket. I have to have a nice blanket. So there's two blankets that I like. I like the faux chinchilla from Z Gallery, or I like these Urban Outfitters has this, oh my gosh, they're like, oh, they're so fluffy. But like I sleep weird. I have to have a lot of stuff over me. Like, so I need to have like a blanket over my face when I go to sleep. So I like to bring a blanket from home because when I'm sleeping in a hotel bed, I like wrap my head into my blanket and that's how I fall asleep. It's like a cocoon.
That's smart. I need to get a blanket now.
Yeah, since I was a kid, I need to have a lot of stuff on me for me to fall asleep. I don't know why or what that is called, but that's how I fall asleep.
You know what I think a lot of people want to know? How's your quarantine going? Who are you guys? Who you with? What's happening at the house? How are things going? Are you so like happy that you could chill out for a little bit, or are you itching to get back out there?
I feel like it's a little bit of both. I'm working on what's done, but I'm releasing my project Pretty Bitch Music soon, and my single next month. Next month is June. Yeah. So I've had a lot of downtime to be a part of the creative, like. For the people who knew me from Icy Girl, like I was doing a lot of my creative then, but then after my career took off, I didn't have time to. So I'm thankful to just get back to like, you know, my creative roots. And then y'all see my boo. I've been with Quavo. So it's been a lot of fun, and he didn't know that I can cook, but since we've been home, I've been cooking for him a lot, and he was just shocked and loved it.
Are we just, yeah, what's we cooking?
What's your specialty?
Girl, I love seafood. I made some seafood macaroni and cheese and some steak for him, and it was so good.
Can all of us cook Filipino food? I can do about lumpia and pancit. That's about it.
Oh, you got me beat.
Oh, girl, I can do adobo. That's it.
That's what I want to learn.
Yeah, but I got to be on the phone because adobo, like you have to. There is no right measurements. You have to taste as you go because I don't care. Like it's different every time. Like you cannot follow no recipe. So I gotta talk to my Lola or my mama because I'm like, you don't want to mess up no adobo because if it's good, it's good. And if it's not, you like, damn, I just wasted my time.
Exactly.
Yes, absolutely. And also during quarantine, I know we're staying busy with the boo and doing different things at home, but what are you doing to try to kind of keep your mental health in check and to stay positive during this time?
I'm a type of person where I have to check on other people and that makes me feel better. I don't really meditate. Maybe I should start because I heard it has a lot of great benefits. But I do this thing called Pretty Girl Tap In, and I did a mental health edition. So I did a Pretty Girl Tap In, and I was like, hey girls, like to my icy boys and to my icy girls, like how are y'all doing with your mental health? Because, you know, like, especially for me, I live in an apartment right now and it's 3 bedrooms. It's big enough for me, but I know like in college, I was living in a studio and I was like, damn, my heart goes out to the people who aren't in a comfortable like setting for quarantine. So I'm like, how are y'all doing? Right. So I think it's just important for me to just check on the people who support me. So that makes, I feel like when I check on other people, I don't know how to describe it. I feel like that's my way of helping my mental health as well.
I love that. Yeah.
Because you have the care for other people, so you want to make sure they're good before you even, you know, can get yourself.
Kinda. It's checking on other people it makes me feel good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how I do that.
So I know we still got some time left. I want to try to pick up a couple questions again, going back to just family. What does it mean to you for family and to be of mixed race and to be able to take both heritages and say, this is who I am, I love it? For those girls that are listening, those kids that are watching.
I think it's very important to be proud of your background. And I think it's also important to be aware of what you are, because like I was actually thinking about this the other day and I'm trying to find the words to translate when I'm thinking, but like when you know your background and you're proud of it, it's just a different type of feeling. Like I even want to take an ancestry test because I'm like, what the hell am I? Like, you know, and I feel like although, you know, there are some hurdles and obstacles growing up when you're biracial or triracial or whatever you are, but I feel like I feel like we should embrace the fact that we have 2 dope, great, historically, you know, bomb heritages. So I feel like instead of me focusing on the troubles I was facing, I was like, why not just embrace it? So I started talking to my mom a lot more about how I felt because I'm the only Black and Filipino one in the family. And, you know, they don't know how I feel. So I feel like when I told them how I felt about certain things about, you know, like sometimes I didn't feel like I would fit in, they started being a little bit more sensitive to me because I was like a wild child. And when you're a wild child in a traditionally quiet Filipino home, they're always talking about shh. Right. And I'm just giving you a little example. But I think that you know, starting to embrace what I am is that's what started to help me instead of focusing on the things that I was trying to change. But I can't change the blood that's running through my skin. Yeah. So just, you know, just embracing it. Hopefully that answered your question.
No, that was actually really like that answered everything because I think a lot of people feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to ask questions. I think that's why we wanted to have this conversation too, especially during quarantine. There's a lot of young kids out there who are already confused about certain things and now they're home and they're either with their siblings or they're by themselves trying to figure things out and they're not at school right now. So it's good to ask questions.
Right. No, definitely.
And did your family create that environment where you were able to communicate with them when you felt uncomfortable or whatnot?
I'm sorry, girl. My connection just went this way and came right back, so I didn't hear your question.
Oh, no, you're good. I was saying, did your family create that atmosphere for you where you were able to communicate whenever you did feel, you know, out of place or left out? Was it like, did they make that easy for you to communicate?
How do I answer this question? I'm weird with my emotions and my feelings. I harbored them a lot growing up. So my parents didn't really know how I felt until I graduated from college. So I kind of harbored these feelings like internally since I was a kid. But when I hear other people's stories, it just makes me realize that I'm not the only one struggling with, you know, these internal battles. So I'm not really good at expressing myself, but I felt like it was important for me to communicate and just to at least start the conversation with my parents, and that helped me.
Absolutely.
But yeah, you definitely just got to start it, I guess. But it is scary when you don't know how to exactly put it.
Mm-hmm.
Because
And
I'm older than you and I'm still trying to figure it out. And I talk to my parents still like, what happened? What else was going on?
right. And I feel like this is a great conversation because especially if you're the parent's first child, like they don't know what it feels like to be mixed themselves. So it's like we're the pioneers of whatever these emotions are because no one else in the family is like us. So I think that it's cool that we're actually having this conversation because I thought that I was the only person dealing with, you know, what I was dealing with.
All of us, girl. I feel, yeah,
Right.
I feel it. Yeah. And Katrina knows my sister too. So she I was the first one and I had to explain her things, but we look differently. And so it's just, you know, we're all trying to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I think we have, Katrina, do you have the questions or do you want to go back and forth?
On the 5 questions from girls?
So there are 5 questions that we're doing from the audience that they wanted to.
Okay.
Let me see here. Wait, I have one last question for myself though.
What's up, girl? What's up?
We talked about a new single coming out and I'm excited. I'm here for it. Can you tell us a little bit about that? What's going on? What's the vibe?
It's called Tap In. It's
Okay.
the first time I've ever shared that. So, you know, exclusive right there.
Hey.
But that's why I've been doing my Pretty Girl tap-ins and just check-ins. And I was kind of inspired by, you know, the Pretty Girl tap-in. So I wanted to make a song that kind of represented that. It's fun. It's just a really fun song. I listen to it every morning. Like it makes me so happy. It's like my type times 10. So
Times 10.
Times 10, girl. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. Hopefully, I mean, we in LA, so quarantine has been extended, but I'm trying to turn up. So
I was gonna say, have you shot anything yet, or would you shoot a video? Like a lot of people are doing that from home.
we're trying to figure out what the regulations are right now, but because this is my next single, we kind of shifted from quarantine style to an official music video. So we're trying to figure it out right now.
Okay.
That's exciting.
Yes,
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Sib, I just got some questions from the audience. Do you want to kick those off?
Sure. I'll do okay, so this one comes from Anya Asuncion. I hope I said that right. Whoop. Being Black and Filipino, she said her as well. How have you handled embracing both cultures in times when you didn't feel like you belonged because you're mixed, and how do you keep those feelings from negatively affecting you?
Ooh, I think there's 2 steps to that, and I'm just thinking about this from the top of my head about what I did. First of all, you have to identify, okay, I'm Black and Filipino, and then you kind of just have to accept that, accept what comes with being Black and Filipino. And I think once I like for example, I kept trying to feel like, can I change this? Can I change that? No, I can't. So how do I just embrace the situation? So I just started looking on the broader side of things. Like I mentioned before, like just going back to my Black roots, my Filipino roots, and finding things that made me proud to be both of them. Then I was like, okay, now I'm proud to be myself. Because if I'm focusing on my problems and the negatives, which is completely human and normal to do. So if that's something that you girls do, just know that you're human and that's normal. But instead of putting your energy towards that and making you feel like you're incomplete or you're confused, why don't you just focus on the positives? And I feel like that's the start of that, and then kind of building up from that, because I feel like it's a journey and it's a process, and it's not something that happens overnight. I wish I had a better answer, but hopefully that can kind of spark a thought of, you know, going in a more positive direction.
Absolutely. Okay, I have the next question, which comes from Faye Pablo. This is a two-part question. What are the things that your Filipino mother did and said that were encouraging to you, especially in terms of being biracial?
Well, growing up, my mama was mean. So, no, she hella cool, but she was tiger mom. She was young, so she was, stressed out too. But I think I would always I didn't like that I had curly hair. I used to wish I had straight hair because it was really difficult to do my hair. And she would kind of when I would complain, she would just like pop me on the head with a brush. And so it was kind of like she kind of like forced me to like my hair, because every time I complain, I get in trouble. So, I mean, don't get me wrong, my mama loved it, but I'd be lying if I made something up. So, she scared me into, to stop complaining. So
she was like, you're gonna love this, okay?
Right?
Yes. Okay, the second part of the question is, what are the things I can do as a Filipino mom to my young daughters that are mixed with African American that your mom did, so I can be encouraging to my babies to be successful, kind, and beautiful inside and out like you?
Oh, that's a really good one. I feel like the fact that she's even not identifying, that her daughters are different from her is a step. I feel like communicating to, the Black side of the family, because she's Filipino, you already know morals and what your beliefs are, but just communicating from a Filipino side and what does it feel like to be a Filipino woman? And then kind of bringing up those conversations to your daughter, because they probably feel like they're a mixture of those things. So I think even having a conversation like this with your daughters is helpful, because this is not something that people talk about.
Right.
So I definitely feel like just figuring out what it feels like to be like a Black woman, a Filipino woman, and then bringing that to your daughters and getting, their opinion on how they feel about themselves. I feel like that's a step towards identifying, okay, what are they happy about, or what are they not happy about, so that we can start working on those things.
This third question comes from Jessica Del Mundo. She says, there's so much about your background that seems to reflect two words. You're a college grad from USC, but you got discovered on YouTube. You represent both the Black and Filipino community. You perform covers and originals. A lot of duality and diversity, some contrasting. What would you tell girls who aren't sure of their identity, maybe because of the same duality or because they have interest in multiple conflicting things? Ooh, that's a harder question.
No, that's actually a great question. And
Yeah.
I feel like that's what makes my brand unique, because there is a lot of duality. I am Black and Filipino.
Yep.
I went to San Diego State and USC. What else? I am interested in things that kind of conflict with each other, but I feel like instead of looking at them as, conflictions, look at them as caterpillars. I went to USC, right? Oh my gosh, my mind is going blank. But look at them as pillars of what makes you. Because I feel like the diversity is what makes you unique. So I wouldn't look at them as conflicts. I'd kind of embrace them and kind of look at them as gifts, because because we're two things or three things or four things. I know people up here is all mixed up, but we have a lot of things, supporting who we are as people, as a character. And I feel like it's just dope because we have different things to pull from. So, like I said, kind of just embracing it instead of looking at it as a negative I feel like is the first step. Definitely. I said caterpillar.
We know what you meant. Well, I was like, yes, caterpillars. Yeah.
I was thinking of pillars for success, but caterpillars. I saw a caterpillar yesterday, so that's probably where it came from. But my bad, y'all. We all smart up in here, so don't tell nobody.
It's Sunday. It's fine.
Yeah, it's Sunday, girl.
Next question comes from Christian Kamiki. who would you say are 3 women that have influenced your fashion sense?
3 women. I would say my grandmother, my auntie, and my mom. Like growing up, I never really fangirled. I never were really fans of like celebrities and artists because like to me the celebrities were like the women in my family because they're just so dope. Like I'm so thankful to be a part of a family full of strong, ambitious women who got, fashion sense. Like they're all fly. They all love to do their makeup. My grandma, especially when I lived with her, she'd get her hair and her makeup done every Thursday an hour away and was so fresh. Like, girl, not even every 2 weeks. She got her nails, her feet, and her nails, and her hair done every Thursday. And I was like, wow, that's a boss right there. Yeah. So it's like just being a little girl, admiring them, getting ready for the club or getting ready to go on a date, getting ready for anything. Like, it was just fun. They smelled hella good. They got good hygiene. So I just have great role models that I look up to.
This is the last one, and it's from Tracy Cotton. It says, my question is that I'm 15 years old and would like to start my own makeup business. Do you have any tips?
She's 15.
Mm-hmm. Wants to start makeup business, makeup line.
Okay, I feel like there's 2 ways to answer this because when you're young and when you're an independent owner, like, you can get away with a lot of things. But it's good to be professional about it so that you have your certificates, and so you're not making makeup that's making people break out. So I definitely feel like you should do your research and see what are the necessary steps, because there's a lot. Because you have to get products made, you have to test those products, you have to get your name trademarked. There's a lot of legal that goes behind creating a business. But I find, especially as someone who started my own business, I did t-shirts, that you can kind of skip some of those steps. But the bigger you get, you are going to have to take, the legal steps to make your business official. So definitely doing your research. And then second, I would look up 3 to 5 businesses that you strive to be like and kind of doing research on what they did to make their brand pop.
Those are all, that's good. I'm going to go work on that too. Hold on.
Right, taking notes.
I got all my notes down. I know we got to wrap this up quickly, and a big shout out right now. Saweetie is going to say hello to some graduates. I know that we're all in quarantine. You guys can't walk the stage and do it the proper way right now. So we just want to honor some of the 2020 graduates. So Saweetie, if you want to take it away.
Yes, girl, I would love to. I got my list right here. Okay, are you guys ready? I don't think I'll pull something up on the screen.
There it is.
Also been able to go off.
All right, hello ladies. I feel cool right now. Like, I'm about to announce your names and y'all are graduating. I wish I had a really dope speech, but real ass icy girls can do impromptu speeches. So what's the date today? It is May 17th. And today you are taking a really big step and have accomplished something that a lot of people don't have the discipline to do. So that's a congratulations to you right there. The fact that you guys earned your degree just shows that you guys have self-discipline, you're ambitious, and you can change your life for the better, because education is important. I don't care about how many songs you may hear, because I'm an artist, who may say that it's not, because it is. It teaches you a whole bunch of invaluable skills that you can't learn on the street or in corporate America. So congratulations to you ladies, and I'm going to shout y'all out right now. So Maxine Arenas from James Logan High School. Hey girl, my mama went there, so I've been on campus a couple times. Kaya Brown from Polytechnic, that's a long name, Polytechnic High School. Jade Bryant from Purdue University. Okay, girl. Maya Cheney from Polytechnic High School. Polytechnic. Where'd they get that name from? My bad. Okay, I'm sorry. Jay Miranda from San Diego State University. Girl, I know you was partying because I was. Kaj Miranda from Eddie Wanda High School. Anissa McGregor from Chaminade High School. Y'all got some interesting school names. Nala Abdur Rahman from Howard University. Okay, girl. Pam White from University of Arizona. Congratulations, ladies. I'm sorry if I didn't say, some of the school names or your names correctly, but I wish I could hear you guys right now, but really congratulations. That's dope as hell. And I'm happy that, we have some young ladies from high school who are present today. And, a degree, a diploma is a great accomplishment. So congratulations. And hopefully, you guys go out there and pursue whatever you're passionate about. Don't let nobody tell you any different. You guys may not want to pursue a career in music, but I imagine that since we're, in Swirls for Girls, that you guys have big goals and big dreams. So although it may not be easy, I feel like the fact that you are, you come from a diverse background, like really embrace those hurdles, because those hurdles are just, setups for what's in the real world. So it's like you guys spent your whole life dealing with these struggles, these problems. Okay, great. That's made you a stronger woman. It's made you a more aware woman. It taught you that no two groups of people are the same. And I feel like those are lessons that you can take out into the real world and kind of just go out there and conquer anything that you want to do.
Absolutely. Thank you, ladies. Real quick, I wanted to ask you guys one trait you all learned from your Filipino mom or grandma. So I'll start. The one thing that I've learned is you take everything from the hotel that is not bolted down. So case in point, right here, I was at the CWA hotel and they did not have these pencils bolted. So I took every single one that they had in there. Jill?
So that's where I get that from.
Mine is to bargain for everything. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. You better get the best price. Like, when like people ask me to do their homework, like, oh, I'll give you 20. I'm like, no, 35.
People's homework. Lord, Savannah.
When I go to a restaurant, rack up them napkins or bring like a plastic Tupperware with you to bring the leftover food just in case. Always.
KJ.
I'm gonna have to go with the bargain too, because my mom loves bargaining for everything to the point where I'm like, Mom, stop. But I will say also, my Lola and my mom really taught me a lot about hard work and just cleanliness. Like, I think I low-key get my OCD from my mom and my grandma, just always telling me to, pick up after myself. So
Nice. Sid.
Oh, Lord. Honestly, I want to say, like, mine's sentimental. I just lost my grandmother last year in November, and she's like the heart of me. Family. That woman always wanted us to be together, and if you weren't there, she would be complaining while you're not there, and if you were there, she'd complain when you leave. But she wanted always for all of us to be together, and that and long trips to like the casino, probably. Blackjack.
Sweetie.
Oh my gosh, I wish I had something cool or funny to say, but one thing that my grandma and my mom taught me is to clean. I was the kind of kid that shoved everything underneath my bed. So now that I live on my own, I can understand why they were constantly cleaning. My grandma would sweep and mop every night. So I'm definitely OCD, and if it's one thing that I took from them is to be clean.
Yeah. Everybody's got a little bit of clutter everywhere, though. We want to take the time to say thank you so much to the three ladies that joined this panel. I was getting texts from the girls, and they were saying how fluid the conversation was between the three of you. So thanks again from the bottom of our heart. If there's any way that you guys can come back and visit the Swirls Girls for any reason, whatever it is that you guys are working on, please feel free to call us. But real quick, we wouldn't be Filipino if we didn't take a quick picture. So all of our friends that are out there, It's going to take a few seconds. Savannah, count down, 3, 2, 1, and we're going to take a quick picture. Cheese.
Someone take a picture.
Somebody will take a picture.
Okay, whatever.
All right. So that's kind of it. Before we wrap up, we want to say a couple of thank yous to some people that are very near and dear to me. They're the executive council members, but also my ride and dies that help out with Swirls on a daily basis. Felicia Freydu, Jolie Legault, Janine Taylor, my sister Eileen, my girlfriend Lou, Washington, everybody else that helps out, as well as our forever mentor, Taylor. I'm trying to take a breath. For more information about Swirls, go to our website, swirlsforgirls.org. You can find us on Instagram at Swirls for Girls, and we're also on Facebook. This concludes the Swirls for Girls conversation. Thanks again for dropping in. Remember, wear your masks, be safe.
Wash your hands.
Love y'all.
Bye, ladies. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye, ladies.